What up, tribe? It's your girl Raji, and I'd like to welcome you to the very first episode of the House of Cush. If you are an OG here, you remember this being the Cush Concierge. And as I have restructured the business, I have decided to rename the podcast. So, no, you're not in the wrong place. We've just moved the Cush Concierge to being simply the title for the tribe, and the house that you all are joining. This is, that name. Now, if you're wondering, what is all this? What does it mean? So, around COVID, I entered a spiritual awakening. And just a little bit about myself. I am a Afro-Indigenous woman from the Deep South, Alabama to be specific, and I have always had the gift of sight, and I have always been interested in the occult. Grew up around hoodoo, and my family lineage is one of those families that, while more on the normal side, we all had our gifts and we were practicing things based on tradition. A lot of things we didn't even realize were hoodoo until we got older. So as I went on my journey, I definitely had more than a few good stories, and I have decided to tell those stories in context, but also teach others and guide others on their path to evolving. Now, I love what I do. I am an entrepreneur. I've had several businesses, and I'm also certified in spiritual life coaching and small and entrepreneurship coaching. So what I have built here over time, with obviously the help of the tribe, is, I feel like, a way for people who are getting into spirituality, rootwork, conjure, and magic, even, to learn more about their purpose and to see how they can influence and work with their day-to-day, making sure they get the highest possible outcome, the best possible outcome. Let me rephrase that. There is absolutely no reason why we should be raw dogging life at this point. Whatever your belief system, your ancestral background, if you have felt in a way that you have been miscategorized, I don't even know if that's a word, y'all, but you're new to this, or you're shifting, you're ready to transform, ready to do something new, ready to learn more. And I just feel like there needs to be a space where we're allowed to do that without feeling like we're under the same constraints that we were in when we were a part of that arena of life with people who, were either didn't know any better, or if they knew better, we had to deal with a lot of spiritual attacks. And we'll get off into how you do that. I'm to the point in this journey where I'm okay, let's focus on what we can do, and let's focus on results. Let's focus on, like I said, making sure you have the best possible outcome in this whole situation, because that is where we are born from when it comes to hoodoo, when it comes to rootwork, when it comes to conjure. The oppressed, the disenfranchised, the overlooked, and the misguided, if you will. We needed protection, we needed assistance, because we could not get that in a traditional landscape because the odds were stacked against us. So here you have practitioners, you have information being given out that can assist you, and what we like to say, balance the scales. So ran all the way around that again to say, this is a very personal voyage for me. And when you guys go through the process and you check in and you need resources, you need assistance, I just would like the House of Cush to be a space or place where that's possible, whether you choose to join the group on Patreon, or you just might need products for your workings or your life. Maybe you don't practice and you need assistance. Like, this is the space where that is not going to be an issue for you, because I do practice and I do guide, and there are others over time that will also be that'll also be a resource to you as well. You guys also have the opportunity to talk to each other in Patreon, so don't hesitate to start conversations. Don't hesitate to ask questions. You never know. Obviously I have information that I'm putting out according to the almanac, according to spirit's guidance and my knowledge, but I'm sure that there is a wealth of information that you guys and experiences that you guys can put out there as well. So even if you're not a part of that, get in the comments, whatever. Like, introduce yourself, say hello, like, let the world know that you're out there, because the idea that you don't have support, or that you're misunderstood, or you might just be, like I said, a Cimarron energy. Like, you do not want to leave that space and then go back into another area of restriction. Now, does that mean you don't have to do the work, like the shadow work as you call it? Does that mean you don't have to petition your guides and ask for assistance with God? And it's like, no, none of that goes anywhere. You are just now the driver of your own boat, if you will. You steer the boat on your own. And like, that was my goal. I don't even want to call it a safe space, because people are saying like there is no safe space in spirituality. I just, like, maybe a lighthouse is how I would see the Cush concierge, the House of Cush energy, like a lighthouse. I'll get back to you on that. But things have been really interesting, and I'm just deciding to dive deeper into my practice and my journey, because I know that I have been put here for a specific purpose, and I want y'all to find y'all purpose too. Okay? So that's what we're doing, Now, today is Thursday, August the 14th, and we are tapping into the moon shifting into Taurus. Now, I feel like with the Jupiter energy and with the Taurus energy that we're shifting in, it's time for you to set long-term goals and to start to focus on any sort of renewal energy that is going to benefit you long-term. I definitely think that's going to be very smart. We'll get into the rootwork tips of the day that I have for you guys that you can implement. And I also want to say, which I felt like was a really good point by another creator, this is a time for strategy and planning and rest. You have to have a balance, and it's almost like the spirits are forcing us to get into alignment with what we should be doing, and also honoring ourselves and our rest and our rituals and our routines outside of the status quo. I was mentioning earlier, like, yes, I cater to entrepreneurs and small businesses and creators, because like, I love I love growth. I love the idea of like small businesses and coming up with ideas and helping people creatively. So I love to hustle, but I also feel like there needs to be some sort of evolution within the hustle, and that's why I set out on the journey that I set out on. No, I don't want to give up it. Like, there are, like, if you're like myself and you're like Capricorn moon or whatever, right? Or you just have those, maybe a Virgo moon, or you're a Virgo. Like, Beyonce doesn't mind working. She loves what she does. You know what I'm saying? I want to teach people how to naturally embody their gifts and abilities and their purpose, and not be ashamed. Like, everybody's meant for something different. But that does not negate from the fact that you need to rest. You need to be prepping so you don't have to move out of survival mode and just accept whatever. So this is where we find that balance. So I think today is good for rest as well as just sitting back, kind of planning. If you've been like tapped into my tribe readings on my other social media, I have been guided to speak more on things that are affecting us on a more our rights, what happens next, what we need to do type of scale. So if y'all want to check that out, do check that out. Now, transits that we can focus on today, right? We have the moon shifting from Aries to Taurus, and this is energy moving from fast-paced initiation to grounded, practical follow-through. That's going to be very, very important moving forward. You need to not be thinking with emotion. You need to, in feelings, because they come and they go. You need to be thinking with strategy, what you are capable of producing, and being honest with yourself about where you are in that process, okay? Now, Venus is in Cancer, and it's sextile Uranus in Taurus. So this could have some unexpected opportunities pop up for emotional and financial security. So I level that to paying attention to the resources and the assistance that is being afforded, 11:33 on the timestamp, that's being afforded to us through various spots and spaces. Because people are wanting to be more free. They want to focus on building community. They want to give resources to people who would otherwise not have that information. So this is a great day for tapping into that too. Now, Mars in Virgo is trining Pluto in Capricorn, with this building a strong drive for strategic action and long-term success. Again, this is a great day, especially with Jupiter's energy, to sit down and say, you know what? I'm going to get serious about my plan, because obviously shit's crazy out here and you never know. So again, like I said earlier, there is no reason for you to be raw dogging life. Like, period, at all. Like, there are spiritual tools, there are things that you can do to shift and bend that energy to your highest, frequency. Obviously, we're not going to be focusing hard on doing shit that's out of alignment, because while it may be good for a second, you know what happens. You fall hard and you fall fast. And that's really not what we're trying to do. Okay? Now, business owner wise, creative wise, spiritual practitioner wise. Okay, so Spirit's giving you in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of like all the fucked up news, all of this shit that's happening, Spirit is giving you a energy of like, okay, you know what you need to do, and you need to do it from a very like focused, strategic place. I do want to have somewhat of a forum for business owners and creatives. How does this look for you? What does this process, look like? What you should be paying attention to as an evolved hustler. I'm very big on working with the planetary. I love planetary magic. That's like one of my favorite things, because planetary and nature magic is like my big thing, and I feel like a lot of us don't get into that, but we need to be very focused on planning our lives, our businesses, our spiritual endeavors out with a way that co-creates with the universe, if you will, God, if you will, right? Okay, you need to be very particular about that right now, because do believe that your ops, the higher ups, they're using this and they're employing people and they're being very serious, and they're not planning right now. They've planned months in advance. Okay. Now, you got the get up and go from Aries. It's like you were a little fire was put under your ass, right? Because Aries is a fire sign, and it's like, I'm ready to get to it. I'm ready to do what I have to do. I've got some new ideas. I've got a new gusto. Now, we in a waning moon phase, but I feel like if you look into that, that's a way to like remove all of the blockages and the stagnancy that are stopping you from achieving these new ideas, and getting to these new spaces and places, right? Whether it be on a personal scale or a business scale, you just need to be very particular about that. Now you've moved into Taurus. What threatens? What happens when you are set on your goal and there's these blockages that are happening, dealing with issues of self-worth and value? And what does it mean to you to exist in stability and being able to relax? Like, what's getting in the way of that? You need to be focusing on removing that. Now, the Mars and Pluto aspect is great for the idea of making, again, bold, decisive decisions. Like, you have to decide that what's being set in front of you, you no longer want to eat. The spirits, they're all with you all the way. They do not want you to just accept any old thing. So the cosmic landscape, right, is supporting you in that way. I love to see it. And this is just me looking over like the key transits that are happening today. I know I'm popping in a little bit later in the day. Usually I do record earlier so you can know what's going on and how to navigate. So I'll likely get back to that soon. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? I don't know what's going on, y'all. Clearly, throat chakra situations that, we're working through. I've been like hella quiet lately as I've been kind of building my community and doing content and really just like focusing on building the foundation of what I'm working with. And I'll continue to do that until I feel like it's where I need it to be. But I do see myself needing to be more active and speaking out more. So that's why I'm here. That is why I'm here, honey. I think today is a great day to focusing in on grounding prosperity magic, since we do have the Taurus moon, but obviously it's waning, so you don't need to be trying to manifest. You need to be being real and honest with yourself about like what's working and what's not working, and let's get a plan together to pivot, right? Quick, easy ways to work with herbs that you may already have in your kitchen. I would like, you could do nutmeg, you could do pumpkin spice. It is the season. You can also choose to utilize bay leaf, which you can inscribe a short petition on a bay leaf and burn that in cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Now, this is going to be good for speed and staying power in all of your money spells. Like I said, you need to be focused on not attracting, but removing blockages from your long-term plans. But you actually got to make some long-term plans. And I think that's where a lot of us get stuck. It's like, okay, what do I do next? Making a decision about, like, what do you really, really, really want to do? And kind of, like, working with it. I do believe we can do multiple things. I feel like it needs to be, like, a goal process. Like, okay, I've done this, now I'm gonna go stop and do this, now I'm gonna go do that, and it all leads up to this great thing that you're creating, whatever that may be, right? Now, you can burn the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and the like pumpkin spice on a charcoal disc, or you can just light it up, you know how we do in Chaos World, or you can fix a tea light or a green candle, which would represent money. But y'all know our ancestors didn't always have colored candles. So don't get so caught up in the idea that you need a colored candle to do workings. You could use a small tea light. If you ain't got that, you could just burn it. You know what I mean? So it's more than one way to skin a cat. Y'all know that's my favorite thing to say. But you would fix the candle with oils and herbs that would build wealth or represent wealth. Again, I don't feel like this is attraction work right now. I think that this is what's in my way and how can I move it to get what I want. But first, you got to be honest about what you want. I'm definitely going to suggest putting this calendar work with some sort of business focused petition today to just get the maximum working. You know, you're not supposed to do it during the day unless it's an emergency. This is work you should definitely be doing when the sun goes down. Now, I think that we don't want to burn out because, like, yesterday and like the day before that, like that energy with like politics and shit, it's so thick. It's so thick. And once you watch one video on your timeline, 1,000 more pop up. And I'm not trying to say that we should be ignoring this shit. I'm just saying that we don't want to burn out. So be knowledgeable of doing your cleansing, keeping your spirits high, because energetically it's like a programming and almost like trying to like instill some sort of fear, and yes, word to caution, obviously, but when it just comes in droves, at some point you just become programmed by this shit and you're like frozen in fear. You're doing things erratically, and that's just not where we need to be with this shit right now. Okay. Now, I think that a lot of times when we operate out of survival, it makes us make bad decisions. And it could be in business, like when you rush and do a sale that's not aligned because you're worried about funds, or you rush and put out something that you're not fully like committed to, and your spirits, they don't respond the way you need them to respond. Like, there's so many facets of why sometimes you just have to take a moment and like breathe and take it all in. Give your spirits enough time to speak with you. Do not be out here operating out of survival. Every single time that I've ever operated out of survival, things have been fucked up. But when I step up and I really focus my energy and my intent, and I'm almost to a sense militant about it, the shit be going just fine. Militant, like, but also like knowing, like, okay, I have my way because I say so. It only goes left if I allow it to go left, and sometimes the rejection is your protection. So if you're out here looking for employment and that shit's really not working out for you, why? What's going on with your energetic alignment that is out of bounds? Because the spirits is not letting you just do whatever these days, because they need people to be doing what they're supposed to be doing in order for us to combat the issues that are going on around us. So where are you on your journey, and how honest can you be with yourself about if you feel off, if you feel stagnant, getting on the right path? Now, I'm going to take a peek. And we're going to see what is going on with the tribe's energy today. I'll also be posting snippets of this reading on TikTok if you guys want to take a look at the cards. Okay. All right, Spirit. Thank you so much for opening the roads for me on behalf of the tribe. Thank you for covering and protecting us as we go on this journey. Thank you so much for the gift. You know I do not abuse the gift. I honor it. I appreciate it. I love it. I respect it. What guidance do the elevated ancestors have for the tribe today, Spirit? So we got the 8 of Knives in the upright for past energy. Let's see for the present. We've got the 6 of Coins in the reverse. And collectively, we've got the Ace of Baskets in the upright. Thank God. The near future, 3 of Baskets in the upright. Okay, so these are the type of energy I like to see. And overall, we've got the Ace of Coins, but it is in reverse. And we're going to figure out, like, why that's in reverse. What does that signify, okay? Now, about 8 weeks ago, you could have been forced to make some sort of decision to move on because you are not getting any sort of assistance, right? You are now building a new life, You're healing and you're building. And your first collaboration on this new journey will start to show itself within about 3 months. But we've got that Ace of Coins overall. So let's tap in and see what's what. Also, I'm being guided to tell you guys to not make unnecessary risks and gambles. This should need to be planned the fuck out. I've been said that. 6 of Coins in reverse. So the clarity is the 2 of Sticks. You have not been able to receive any sort of assistance, but you're still managing to make progress even though the odds have been stacked against you, is what I'm hearing. Ace of Coins in reverse. Father of Sams, you could not be getting assistance from possibly a Sagittarius energy. Temperance in reverse. This is due to the fact that this person may not be wanting to offer help due to them feeling like what you're doing is not realistic. This person, 10 of Coins in reverse, this could be someone that you've been building with quite a while, or a family member that is somewhat toxic. You are needing to protect yourself against whoever that Sagittarius energy is. 9 of Sticks. 9 days is also significant, okay? 9 days. This person might do something or try to like take some sort of opportunity from you over the next 9 days. You've healed though. And there are collaborations coming that are going to benefit you. So this is really lifting. You know, maybe this person or this energy realizes like, you can't keep a good bitch down. You can't keep a good dog down. You feel me? And it's like they're realizing that you're maybe sort of trapped or sacrificed a lot of yourself to maintain this relationship, but it's no longer serving you, and your spirits are asking that you heal and collaborate with people that have the same goals or the same, you know what I'm saying? You guys are equally yoked, and I feel like you should be equally yoked with not only your lovers, but your friends, your family, and business partners, because how are you going to succeed otherwise? So let's see what the guides are talking about. So yeah, you've been having to make a decision to move on from things that you've been putting in work for, and they've just not been building any results. There is some sort of significant attachment that you've had to this like sequence of events. Maybe you were just holding on to it. Capricorn season or Capricorn could be significant. Spirit is saying you still need to be focused on taking action though. Like, this is not the time to give up. You need to take action. Because there's a particular situation and you just maybe not putting in all that you could have. Okay. You are the Empress. Aries is very significant. And we were just in the Aries moon yesterday. So, And this is like saying basically that you have everything you need. You're all the queens in the deck. You are able to nurture, grow, and build. Like, you know, prosperity flows towards you here. But there is some sort of passion that you could possibly be sitting on that you're not pouring yourself all the way into. You need to definitely take action. 1 day is very significant. Tell me about the present. Yeah, you're not taking action. Page of Wands in reverse. Maybe due to some sort of fear that happened when you were younger. Maybe you fear that you're not taking action. And this is why you're not like able to see all of your options. Spirit is also saying there's a King of Swords here, possibly a Gemini, Aquarius, Libra energy. He's karmic. And you're giving this person power over you if you continue to stifle and limit yourself. This person may feel like they were able to deceive you, but you get the victory by acting. You get the victory by taking charge of your own life. You can't be scared, of taking action. This kind of limits your opportunities. So if you've got somebody that's over you that, is very negative, maybe somewhat manipulative in their energy or the information they give out to you, you need to be, separating. Spirit saying you don't have anything to worry about with this 9 of Swords in reverse. You don't have anything to worry about. Again, 2 of Wands. I just feel like this is very much about you putting one foot in front of the other, okay? Put one foot in front of the other, baby. You've got to be able to take action based on your visions and based on like your plan. There's just so much more out there for you, but all you have to do is make a decision. And I just heard the world is yours. Now, there is trauma here. Maybe that could be happening in about 3 weeks due to a collaboration. You are going to discover some sort of like dishonesty or lie, and this is going to make you possibly walk away from someone or this group in entirety. You may decide to walk away because you're seeing with the Ten of Pentacles here that there's nothing that you can invest any further. You're basically fighting with old dialogue, old curses. Just this is what you're battling with right now. And you may have been quite upset about it in the past because you did not receive any opportunity or help. But this maybe was a pride issue though. Specifically from this Aquarius energy, the star in reverse, this person was looking to heal themselves. So they would like this cycle to continue of you like existing in weakness. Leo energy here as well. This is a form of control with the Four of Pentacles in the upright. A form of control, like to make you feel like you can't do this shit on your own. Overall, I got 2 cards, so I'm going to take them. The 10 of Cups, and look at this, 4, 5, 6, the 6 of Cups. So you're going to get your brand new start. You're going to get your community. You're going to continue to get offers of prosperity and abundance just because who you are at your core. They tried to sacrifice you and trap you, but this is not going to be something that's going to last long term. It's almost like you've got to get up and decide like you're not going to take any more shit and move forward from there. Like your spirits are supporting you 150%. If you feel like they're not, they are. I think a lot of us need to get the first steps of spirituality in my mind is learning how to cleanse and protect yourself, learning more about yourself, and also learning your spirit team. And I feel like that's where the disconnect is when it comes to joining various like subsets of what we do, joining different houses, joining different societies. It's like wanting to have that community, wanting to be able to have a new start. But I think that's okay. But you also need to learn more about you, more about your lineage, the gifts that you possess. And sometimes those houses and places can help you do that. But always use discernment. Yeah, because there's somebody that's afraid here. Clarity. I just heard a horn beep. Your family plays a very big deal in this move that you're going to make. I was getting a download the other day that a lot of us are not going to be able to reach back to our family to assist us in understanding and helping with what's going on. A lot of them are very comfortable, and it's not going to catch them until the last minute, if ever. They're not going to realize what's going on. So right now, Spirit needs you to focus on things that make you happy, things that bring you joy, okay? And this is going to happen through you adapting to the climate around you, not being afraid, not like being dismissive, but adapting. And a lot of that adaptation, you know what I do, I feel like is through the scope of rootwork, conjure, hoodoo, voodoo, whatever it is that you practice. You have to adapt. These entities have people in place that they're already working with. You know, and a long time ago, this was considered something that usually the upper crust was only supposed to participate in astrology. Tarot, by history, is something that a lot of people saw the wealthy doing at parties, etc. I feel like there needs to be a space in place where the hustlers, the business owners, the creatives, the women, like anywhere, whatever, you're utilizing these tools, the same tools that your oppressors are trying to withhold from you to adapt and to stabilize your life after a period of, you know, just not being given the option to do that. And we'll jump more into that later. I don't want to like get into a rant. So there's going to be something revealed to you in the near future, in regards to this control that these energies are trying to have over to you. This will continue to be like something that is shown to you over and over again until you decide to free yourself. The freedom card was coming out quite a bit the other day. You are overall, you're growing, you're learning, and you're shedding old facets and places and spaces of people that just do not resonate with you anymore. But you have to actively do that in order for you to get to the other side. Nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's just going to say, oh, my bad. Like, that's not how this shit works. It's not. It's just not how this works. And it's not a drab drum. It's like you stepping into your power and taking control of your life. Okay, in this oracle card, one of the lizards it's the grow oracle card. One of the lizards is having a full tail and it's kind of like blued out, and one is white. And you know how lizards be shedding their tail, like that's you shed something so that you can grow. Like, don't be afraid to let that go. Something will come in its place. Something will come in its place. You cannot be afraid to let the past go. Something will come in its place that is going to be much better for you. But you are going to be protecting yourself against people who don't believe in what you're building long term. People who think that you shouldn't have this opportunity. You're being unrealistic, etc., etc. So just be mindful of that. I'm not going to run the deck for y'all today. If you're an OG, you know when I run the deck, I read all the cards. I read the whole story. But I do realize I'm like placing a lot of information into like one little setting. And I don't want the first episode to be that long. I don't want the first episode to be that long at all. So I am going to pause here with the collective reading. I pray that you guys were able to get some sort of confirmation for your journey ahead. You have nothing to be afraid of. You definitely are being made aware of things so that you can know how to move accordingly, not for you to be afraid. That's also a download I just got. So yeah, I am available. If any of this resonates and y'all feel like you need a personal reading, I will be more than happy to assist you. I do have openings today. They are via Zoom, or I can text or call you, whichever your preference. But definitely click that link in my bio and we will move forward with getting your strategy and also just seeing what the energy is around you again, so you know how to move. Now, the cards are all about the possibility of the thing. I'm not telling, but I tell you one thing though. I'm gonna say that, but they do a lot of things, but lie is not one of them. So be ready for honesty. Be ready for realness. Be ready for solutions and not us just sitting in the problem. Be ready for it. Be very, very ready. Because that's what they're commanding almost, as you have to command your life and what you want. You have to take control. You are the main character. Whatever the fuck it is I need to say to get you to understand that this is not the end of your story. These people, do not let them write your story. You decide. And that's just what I stand on, okay? That's just what I stand on. I stand on motherfucking business. But nah, for real, y'all. I missed you guys so much. I'm glad I was able to get this episode in. Again, we'll definitely be putting in more work podcast-wise. And you guys can follow me on all of my social networks, available by clicking the link in my bio. And catch the message as it resonates, always and forever, you feel me? But I do appreciate y'all, and let me know how you feel, what's going on. Introduce yourselves, talk, say hello, talk to each other. I feel like a lot of us feel like this is going to be a solitary game that we're playing, especially if you're like no contact, you're estranged, whatever you got going on. You're doing new things. They feel like they don't understand, whatever. I just feel like you're not going to have to do this alone the way that you think. your desires, your new life, your community, your group is out there. You just got to make sure you're in alignment, right? And how do you do that? By being honest with yourself, by being real about your journey and what you're here to do. So yeah, don't be skipping over here talking and stuff. Don't be just listening and hiding, share the love or whatever. Maybe you want to sit back and observe for a little while to see what's real, but each one teach one, baby. Each one teach one. But that's all for today. That's all I got. I love you guys. And until next time, with all my love, Raji. Bye. Love you, mean it.